dies.
Welcome to another Unofficial Maritime Wrestling podcast interview. Today, our guest, one of the brightest young stars of all of Maritime Wrestling, the Kid, Rudy Lockhart. How's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. So we are going to start with question one. Corey.
All right, man. So for fans just getting to know you, what first got you into wrestling, and when did you decide this was going to be more than just a dream?
Oh, man, this is like, I get asked that question all the time, and it's like, I always had the same response, and it's always like, I can never remember a time when wrestling wasn't in my life. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys could relate to that as well, but I don't know. I can't. I don't. It was wrestling was passed on to me from my older cousin. He got out of it, and then he dumped all of his stuff on me: his action figures, his clothes, his DVDs, everything's magazines, and I just adopted it, and I never grew out of my phase. I never reached a point where I grew out of wrestling, and I always wanted to be a wrestler. Like I think everyone had when they were a kid wanted to be a wrestler, and I don't know. I just can't. I never reached a point where I said where I gave up on the dream. I don't know. It's just like everyone always has those wild dreams when they're younger. They want to, be a astronaut or a rock star, and most of them are pretty unattainable, and so is being a wrestler. But I don't know.
Well, you managed to attain it. You started training at Cobra Clutch under Troy Merrick. He's produced some strong maritime talent. What was it like learning from him firsthand?
Yeah, it was. I think that his track record of producing talent is what part of the appeal and the allure of me reaching out in the first place. And it was just an incredible experience to be able to learn under him. I was able to learn so much, and Troy really broke me in. And it was maybe the experience training under him wasn't quite what I anticipated, and that's not in a bad way either. But Troy really helped me. He changed my life entirely. Just I grew so much from that process, not only from just being able to train to learn how to be a wrestler, but also just life lessons. And Troy is entirely to thank for that. So
cool.
In 2023, you and Dayton made the trip to Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
To train at the NJPW Academy. There's a ton of schools in Canada, a ton of schools in the U.S. What drew you to the New Japan Dojo?
That's a wild story. So, we were part of the very first class. The New Japan Academy now, they've been running for 2-3 years, and they've got a reputation now, and they've produced a lot of talent that are literally on TV now, and since they've opened, and so it's a very reputable school now, one of the best in North America, I'd say. But when we went, we were the very first class, so we knew nothing about it. We went in completely blind, and the only way we found out about that was through Troy. He sent they released a commercial advertising the school. And Troy sent me the commercial. He sent it to the group chat of my class that he had finished training. So me, Cameron, Dominic Warrior, Oni Bjornsson, and Gabriel Savage. Okay. He sent it to all of us, and he just said something along the lines of, "If I were young, I would do this. If I can turn back time and do this when I was young, I would do it." And so Cameron and I looked at it, and we were thought it was cool, but we didn't sign up or apply or nothing because we were there's no shot we get in. There's no way this is even a possibility. So we gave up on it. And then a couple days later, we were what the hell? We might as well, So we, can I curse on here?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
All right. So I won't do much cursing, but it's good to know. But anyway, we were what the hell? So we signed, we didn't even even like fill the criteria out completely because we just didn't. Not that we didn't care, it's just we knew we weren't gonna get in. So like they wanted certain pictures, and we were like, we don't have them, so whatever. And then anyways, we fill them out, and then like 2-3 days later, I get an email. And it's in all Japanese. It wasn't even in English. I swear to God, I still have it. And so I have to translate it. And then it's pretty much, it was like, you've been accepted to the academy, and then all the further information, the documents. I couldn't believe it. And then Cameron got his, like, he didn't even get his right away. Like, I had to wait. Like, he got his, I was after me. And then once he got accepted, it was like, okay, is this actually a possibility? And it was, fortunately, we were both in a good spot financially at the time to where it was. And we just made it happen. We literally dropped everything in our lives, invested everything we had, all our time, all our money, into going out and doing that. And it was the best choice I've ever made in my life.
It's a pretty big culture change, man, going from the Maritimes to Los Angeles. What was that experience like?
It's a culture shock, literally. Yeah. Like the first day, we get there, our plane lands, we get the taxi to our Airbnb, and then we settle down, and we're like, okay, well, we should go and get some groceries and necessities. So we go, and we're walking to the nearest Target, and we're walking down the sidewalk, and we stop to cross the road, and like there's some bushes just on the sidewalk, and there was just a homeless man just like sleeping in there, just living in there in the middle of the day, and he was just living on the sidewalk, and we were like shocked, but like that's just like an example of like day one. Like we're not in Halifax, we're not in Lower Sackville no more. Like this is a totally different culture and atmosphere, and it's funny because I always like say, like growing up, I'm a big like movie guy too, and my dream was always like, I think it's every like kid from a small town's dream is like, I'm gonna move out of this city one day, I'm gonna leave this town, and I'm gonna go live in wherever, New York, or I'm gonna live in Hollywood one day. And that I put that on like a vision board in high school, and like. And then it actually happened. Like we lived in LA for 3 months, and it's like just crazy how life works, but definitely a total culture shock. Yeah.
You were coached at the NJPW Academy by DKC, Royce Isaacs, Tyler Bateman. What was something each of them brought to your development that really stood out to you?
Oh man, we were able to like focus so much on each because DKC taught one night, and then like Bateman would teach another night, and then Royce would come in as needed, and so we got so much one-on-one time individually with each of them. And man, I don't know, like it's I can't even begin to. I don't even think I'd be able to pick apart any particular thing, because we just absorbed so much knowledge from that training school and that program, that it's all these little things that I do that I don't realize that I do, but it's because of that program. It's because of the stuff that like DKC, Bateman, Royce, that they taught us. And even like Fred Rosser too, Darren Young, spent a lot of time with him. So picked up a lot from him. Rocky Romero would come in from time to time as well. So be able to pick up on little things really from all of them. But I have a notebook that I could go through of all the notes I've taken.
That's amazing.
I could sit here. That could be a whole podcast.
That's so cool.
Anytime.
Cool. Yeah, especially I enjoy Romero's stuff quite a bit. Like I'm an AEW guy, and I watch him quite a bit, especially recently. There, I don't know where that's going, but we'll see where it goes. Where it goes.
He's so good, and it's a lot of those. Like I said, it's a lot of those just the little things in wrestling that you won't, because you're learning this from guys who are on TV or have been on TV, or some of them are at the highest levels, so they know, they know what they're They know what they're talking about, and like, and that's just from the guys that we learned from that were like there, like the coaches there. Like, one of the appeals of that program at the LA Dojo is that you never know who's gonna pop in because it's the LA Dojo. So, you could be in there one day and like a lot of times you'd be training and running a class and like John Morrison would come in, John Hennigan. And then it's just like, there he is, and then you could pick his brain, or he would run like a free seminar. And then like Zack Sabre Jr. came in one day, and it was an entire class with him. Who else came in? Kevin Knight was there a lot, and this was right before he popped off, and now he's signed now. But,
yeah, crazy.
Just a who's who, right? You never know.
Wow.
Oh man, that's amazing to hear. Like, there's big names there.
Yeah.
So now I figured I kind of touch on this. Like, I'm probably the one that asks these types of questions the most. But like, in regards to like your look, like your throwback vibe that you have currently, and it's very retro, like very old school aesthetic, right? Like, what would be the influence? Like, what's the influence and even the way that you would carry yourself in the ring?
Man, there's like, I think like the obvious, like the really easy is obviously to say like Von Erichs. That's the easy, and like I won't deny that either, but I think like people don't realize that it's not just that like of an influence. Obviously, it's very strong, but I don't know. I just kind of think I've taken it like bits and pieces from everything over the years of like what I like, just from movies and television, and I've always had like an appreciation for like the older aesthetics, I suppose, and I guess I'm like an old soul. I don't know. I don't want to say I was born in the wrong generation because I wouldn't say that, but. I don't know. I've always just felt the connection to like, I guess like the time period of maybe like 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I think like ultimately what I've discovered is when it comes to like my appearance and my character and my image and my brand is ultimately to strive towards a timeless image. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's characters and there's gimmicks in wrestling that's like, okay, this guy is 80s, right? Like this guy's from the 80s. He dresses like the 80s. He comes out to 80s music. Or this guy's from 70s. He comes out. He's maybe he's a hippie character, and I find like those are they're very like one dimensional, or opposed to like a character like. Are you familiar with like the Archie comics?
Yep.
Right.
So the Archie comics they've been around for like 100 years nearly.
Yeah, getting close to it.
Yeah, and they're always like Archie Andrews. He's the same. All those characters they're the exact same because they're timeless.
Yeah.
Like if I could strive to bring that to my my appearance and my mannerisms and how I act and how I speak and how I connect with an audience, then I'd be able to connect. I won't be able to isolate myself to any particular audience. I could relate to them all. I think it's worked.
It's definitely working.
I like your mindset on that, though, for sure.
Thanks.
Love it. Okay, so in regards to the next question, so you've wrestled 32 matches through 11 promotions across 4 provinces and 2 countries, all in your rookie year. Which is quite a bit. That's pretty wild. How do you begin to process a year like that? Like, how was that?
And that was, to be fair, I say rookie year, but it wasn't even a rookie year because I counted that from. So I guess I technically had debuted. My first ever match would have been. Not even out of training school yet. Troy had booked us in a battle royal. So it's very standard of wrestling schools to do that. Like I was in and out. It was 30 seconds. So technically my first match was in October of 2022. And then the following day, it was a very similar deal where it was like a closed friends and family event. And I had wrestled a match against Gabriel Savage, a singles match. So that's my first like match match technically, but even then it was like 5 minutes or whatnot. But that was October 2022, and then from the span of then until March of 2023, I had my first real match on a show. Was UCW. It was me. This is a random match. Me and Cody Orion versus the Heathens. The original Heathens.
Yeah, it was backwards.
Right. Backwards, right? So, and then we had that match. I had that match, and then that same show, it was announced that we were going to the LA Dojo. So then there was the 3-month gap of training, and then we come back, and then it's like June. So those like what was like 32 matches.
32 matches, yeah.
Like those are all coming from the span of like June, July, August, September, October. So that's like a 5-month year. Wow. I'm very, very blessed and fortunate to get as much opportunities and work as I've had.
Amazing. That's awesome to hear. And I believe you've mentioned in person as well through conversation that, you've been trying to get those reps in. So that's awesome. Oh, yeah. That's great to hear. But also kind of to maybe follow up on those matches and stuff like that. So you shared the ring now with some amazing Maritime talent. And this includes Sabotage and Wildman Gary Williams taking on the Newfoundland World Order. Yep. So how has this been? Or like also, are there any other matches that really stand out to you? Because I feel like that's very, very important, because obviously Wildman Gary Williams has trained so many different wrestlers in the Maritimes that have stood out, right?
Yeah, that was definitely one of those moments where I was just like, in the moment, I was like, what is even happening right now? Like, I don't even, how is this, like, why me in this position? How did I get here? Because, I mean, I was a Maritime wrestling fan growing up as well, and obviously a huge fan of Sabotage and Gary. So, yeah, it was insane. That might have been, like, the perfect example of that, of one of those moments of just, like, how did I get here? But, like, so cool, There's been so many of those moments. I'm glad I was able to share the ring with Troy a few times before he had retired. Any of those names that all of those guys that I would have seen going to the shows growing up, like JP, like we and Cameron were huge Wrestle Center marks. So like to be able to wrestle JP as many times as I've had, it's just like it never gets old, and it gets funner the more we do it. And so JP is another name like that. I would say, and even like Cole, I'd say is maybe my favorite opponent ever. And when it comes to guys, I get to be in the ring with, and but even so, like Cole's not that much older than me, but I was still Cole was still breaking in as like Cameron and I were going to the shows as fans, right? So it's like even cool to be able to like over the years, you never would have thought as when you're going as a fan as a teenager that like where life's gonna take you, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100% agree. And Hollywood Cole is such a talent, right? Oh, yeah. And like even like I imagine setting a bar, like even if you two or whoever would have been around the same age as you guys, sets a bar, you kind of want to try and strive for that, right? So yeah, it's really helpful, I imagine. Absolutely. So, but Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Your match with Cole just recently for PWU was absolutely fantastic. It was probably one of the best matches I've seen in a very long time.
Thanks. I was really happy with that. It's funny, I just spent the day making like a highlight video out of it. I'll probably post it later. But
cool. I was really fantastic.
Really proud of that match.
Oh man. And so as we mentioned before, the name Dayton Cameron. So you two are the tag team Rad.
Yes.
And up to now, so you've held the UCW tag team titles in 2024. So was that your first time holding a championship?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
It happened pretty quick.
Yeah. So, how did that feel? Like, how did that come up? I guess.
Oh, it was crazy. It was like one of those full circle moments. There's been a lot of those happen a lot in wrestling. Well, I'm just so blessed for every time they happen, but especially that one because like Cameron and I, obviously like best friends growing up, childhood best friends, shared this dream together and had waited so long, to just to be wrestlers and to just to get that far, and then to be able to share all these amazing memories and journeys together, like the LA Dojo, things that we never would have ever imagined, and then like winning tag team championships, winning a tag team title with your best friend. Like how many people can say that they've done that? But not only that, but they doing it in the Halifax Forum, which is where we went to all our shows growing up. Like that's so we got to do it at the Forum, in our hometown, just like in a once in a lifetime experience that like I just beyond grateful for, and no one will ever be able to take away from us. It's just so cool.
Oh man. And so just a question actually. So like we haven't seen you guys as a tag team as of recently, if I understand. Like what's down the timeline? Like what's kind of going on that aspect of things?
I gave him the boots. I wasn't satisfied with his performances, so I had to. Cameron's taking a bit of like he's got some personal things going on in his life right now. He's got that requires him taking a step back from wrestling at the moment. So it's just one of those things, right? Unfortunately, in life, but I mean, like I still, like talk to him every single day, and get together at least once or twice a week. So it's like everything's still all cool. He's good, but don't write off Red. Red one day will ride again.
Cool. Good. Good for him to understand that as well. To take care of himself and kind of take a step back, because I mean that's all you need sometimes, right?
I think the thing with Cameron is I'm sure you guys can understand from being in the wrestling bubble, but wrestlers are like weird people. Wrestlers are like a different breed and like not normal. Like we're all like just our brains are wired differently, and I think with Cameron, he's just too normal of a guy. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And
it does.
That's just him though. I don't know.
And that's all right. Hey, everybody's different, eh? So.
Yep.
So, speaking of titles, you're currently holding the UCW Atlantic Canadian Championship. So now you've had the UCW Tag Championships. What's it like for a promotion like UCW to put your trust in you guys at such a young age?
Oh, well, it's just that, right? It's like it's obviously like a big undertaking, and for that trust, and it's almost like it's scary, and you almost don't want to. I know it was funny because both times in which I'd won the championship, I guess I would say that I'd almost been maybe a bit hesitant in when it comes to perhaps I just maybe felt like I wasn't ready in both of those instances. Like when we won those tag titles, we hadn't even it was our first match like as a tag team. Like we're not ready yet, and like but at the end you can feel you're not ready all you want. Ultimately, if you're being put in that position, then you're obviously ready to some extent. So I think the biggest thing is I get my own head too much, and I think about what other people may think about like how, because I know I think certain ways about myself, and I don't want other people to also feel that way. Like it's almost like a weird self-awareness dilemma, but you just have to like learn how to just like stick your chest up and just live with it, right? And you got to assume that pressure and that responsibility. You have to live with it. It's
cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of accolades, you've recently been included in the sharpshooter class for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. How did it feel to get recognized at such a early stage of your journey?
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, that was a cool thing. Like, to me, it wasn't really about. To me, like, it wasn't about winning. It was just cool to be nominated, right? That, to me, that was enough. Just to be like, recognized. Anytime you can get like recognized or something like that, it's special. You know, it's so. You know, to me, you know, winning was like the cherry on top. You know, but. You know, it was just a popularity contest. I just got the most amount of votes. That's all that was. Right?
Yeah.
So, but just to be recognized amongst like some of the other, you know, some of the best wrestlers in Canada, you know, just to be amongst those guys, it's like, you know, it's pretty cool because that's not, you know, winning is a fan vote, but like being nominated, it's not. That's like you know.
Yeah, it's like a board of directors that pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they run it, but I definitely know that's not. They're not just picking anybody, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So, is there anybody in the Maritimes that you haven't had a chance to face yet that you'd like to step in a ring with?
There's. I don't know. I'm going through it now because there's a lot of Maritime wrestlers. I've wrestled a lot of them, but I don't know. I've never gotten a chance to wrestle Robbie McAllister.
That'd be a fun one.
That would be an honor because I love Robbie, but I just don't think it'll ever happen because we're just the positions that we are in. So, but I'd say Robbie. But there's a lot of guys, especially like guys I'm just meeting too. Like you know, as I travel around more and I'm in different locker rooms, there's guys that I'm still meeting for the first time that I'm getting to know, and I'm like, man, I'd love to be able to roll around because I mean, you know, you can only wrestle the same guys so many times, right? And
exactly,
it's nice to mix it up every now and again.
Exactly. Cool. So we're gonna start winding things down here a little bit and throw in some more fun and lighthearted questions. Question: would you rather take a chop from Gunther or a spear from Braun Breaker?
I'll take the chop. Yeah, I'm taking some gnarly chops, and those just they just sting. But I got a bad back. I don't want to risk really further damage with that.
Good answer in that case.
Makes sense. I think I'd take the chop as well.
I don't know, that spear that Braun Breaker gave to Carlito, that was a thing of beauty, but I don't think I'd want to be on the receiving end.
No.
So Rudy, what's your favorite road story so far? Like a funny story or a weird moment while traveling to a show?
Oh, man.
Did you ever meet the Honky Tonk Man? I hear he's a pretty fun guy to be around.
No. I don't know if I have any. Like, well, I'm sure I do, but I just, none that come off the top of my head. I know, like, I have good, one of the most fun I've ever had was really early on when Cameron and I got back from the States. We went, we had a chance to be on that Newfoundland tour with UCW.
Oh, yes.
And it was, in my vehicle, it was me, Cameron, Charlie.
Oh, my.
Steen.
Oh my God! Oh wow!
Oh, it was a big and then we had someone driving for us, so it was like a big, it was a really expensive, like not an Escalade, but it was a Wagoneer. That's what it was.
Okay.
And so that you can imagine the fun we had in that.
Oh my God! Like being in a clown car.
So you know, Cameron and I are so young and so new at that point. We're just So like
a deer in headlights.
Yeah, but that was pretty cool. It was fun time.
So, based on your locker room experience, which wrestler would make the best stand-up comedian?
You know who's really funny is Oliver Hansen.
Really?
Yeah, he would be I'd say out of anybody who's quick, he's witty, and he'll always make, no matter what he says, he always has something funny. I'd say him, man. That's my pick.
Yeah.
That's a sleeper choice, but it's the right choice.
Who would be the loudest person in the locker room?
In what way?
Any way you want to say.
There's a guy, maybe a certain Nightmare, perhaps at times.
That was going to be my guess.
He wouldn't deny that, I don't think.
Now,
which is funny because I'm like the quietest, so
yeah.
I love
now.
Joseph.
Which wrestler would take the longest in front of a mirror?
Oh man, probably me.
It's okay if it's you. It's okay if it's you.
Yeah,
probably me. I'd say, yeah.
Well, when you look like a Von Erich, you're chiseled out of granite, right?
Yeah, You know what sucks is full body shaving. Having to do that once or twice a week, it gets real tiresome. It's not. It's a wrestling ritual that I do not care for. But
yeah.
Ever try waxing?
No.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in the locker room that I know that do the waxing. So,
not for me. Not for me.
Yeah.
All right, final question here. What would you like to say to your fans?
Oh man, my fans. I just say, obviously, thank you for all the support, but also I'll never be able to express into words how much that means to me, and that's literally that's my life. Like that is why that's not just why I wrestle, but like that's what gets me through all my hard times and my day by day is just knowing that, like, even when I'm real hard on myself and I beat myself up and said, I know got a lot of people out there that look up to me, and which is crazy because I was once in that position, but now that it's roles reversed, that's what, as much as like I help other people and I inspire other people, that in turn inspires me and what helps me. So that's what I'd say.
Great words
What's
of advice.
What's it feel
there.
like to see a fan wearing your T-shirt or like buying your poster? Like that's got to be a trip, man. Like it's got to be such an honor.
Yeah, it is. It's real. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been able to internalize the feeling. I think one day I will. I'll come to terms with it. But right now, maybe I'm still at that stage of astonishment where I can't get over it. But yeah, it's a weird feeling, but it's a good feeling.
So, with that being said, you can catch the UCW Atlantic Canadian champion, the Kid Rudy Lockhart, on April 26th at the Spryfield Lion Ring. Tickets are still available. Channing Decker's on the show. Hollywood Cole will be on the show. And most importantly, the Kid Rudy Lockhart was our guest today, and we thank him very much for that.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Join us again next time, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember to catch us here every Wednesday for a new episode. Please visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and more. Links are in the description. See you next time.
Don't miss out and don't be late. Hear wrestling talk that